Good morning. Today's lesson will be first part about solving word problems. The second part will be an activity where we will solve equations with more than one variable. So right now we're working page 20 out of the workbook. Okay, the instructions here say to write the equation and then solve. For most students, the most challenging part. Am I talking to myself? For most students, the most challenging part is writing the equation. They can figure out how to solve it. If you think you know how to solve it, you can do that first. And then maybe that will help you write the equation just based on what you actually did. So let me work through one with that strategy for you. Football tickets are $5 each. If $1,900 worth of tickets were sold, how many people bought tickets? This is the whole amount. And this
would we divide?
Yeah, this is the size of each group. So we would divide. So, you know, in the calculator, I would type in 1,900 divided by 5, and I'd get an answer. And that's going to be the number of people that bought tickets. And that's a perfectly good equation, equals X. That's a perfectly good equation. When you write these equations, there's more than one correct answer for that. Someone else could have thought, oh, I'm trying to figure out how many people it is, and I know that the number of people times $5 is supposed to come out to equal 1,900. And this equation solves it just as well. Except we have to do an extra step with this one. With this one, we can just divide. With this one, oh gosh, we just divide. So either of these is correct and either one gives the right answer. I'm going to let you work a little bit, but you have to promise to let me know when you need to check some answers. Morning, Maximo. Good to have you back in class.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Oh,
Sorry.
We miss you when you're not here.
Thank you. I miss that class.
Oh, I'll bet
Thank
you
you.
do. It's kind of part of your routine by now.
It is.
And Maximo, did you hear that we're working on page 20?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 19 and 18.
Oh, good. Okay.
So yeah, I was working on the book. Bless you.
Would that just be 3 plus 1.5?
The answer is 1.5. And yeah, just now as I was working this, my approach is it ends up being 4.5 feet. And that's what I wrote down first. It equals 4.5.
And then it's all asking how much farther he dug in the second hour.
Exactly.
And then I was just comparing 3 to 4.5.
Yes. And when you compare them, you get with a difference. And that's how you got the 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
So does this method work?
No.
Nah.
When I looked at that, I was like, that does not look right.
But you know, I see people, and not students, I see people in real life trying to figure something out, and they end up doing something like this. And they come out with 7.5. I hope, and I have to believe that the scientists and the researchers that are compiling all these statistics on COVID, I hope they know they have to do this and not that. Because an answer of 1.5 is very different than an answer of 7.5.
Yeah. That one above, do you multiply?
Yes, but tell me.
14 times 34
Yes, that's right.
equals n.
Equals, yeah. So tell me, what was the clue that made you think you had to multiply?
This I just it because it said it had 14 chapters with an average length of 34 pages per chapter.
I like the way that you added the words per chapter in there. Yeah, that clues me into thinking that, okay, chapter 1 has 34 pages, chapter 2 has 34 pages, chapter 3 has 34 pages.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have to do this a whole bunches of times. When I'm doing repeated addition, it's always easier to do multiply instead. So, yeah.
I get the answers for 20 and 20. Yeah, 20, the whole 20.
A whole 20. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Hey, I'll mail those to
Yes.
you.
And I have a new family member.
You do?
Uh-huh.
Tell us.
His name is Koba.
What's his name?
Koba.
Koba. And so he's new. Does that mean
Yep.
he was born?
Yay.
Oh, look at this. Oh, oh my goodness. One ear up and one ear down. Oh, oh my goodness. Yeah, you have your work cut out for you. Now, does
The
that
good
name,
thing, the kids help.
good. Does that name, does it translate to an English word? Or
To me, it's my girlfriend told me it's native, Koba.
oh,
So I don't know, but I mean, everyone picked the same name because I was gonna put it in Max. It was gonna be my name.
yes.
But everybody decided to Koba, so I was like, it was 4 against 1. So,
Well, I'll tell you this about dogs. Everybody ends up with some nicknames for their pet. And the dog learns all of those names and it will answer to anything if it thinks that there's some reward. My dog had lots of nicknames. Big C was one of her favorite names. Her name was Cricket.
Mm-hmm.
Big C. Well, she was 13 pounds. The only thing that was big about that dog was her ego. Okay, let's see. I'm supposed to be mailing you something.
Thank you.
Send.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm wondering, those of you who are still working, is anybody stuck on number 9?
I just got to that.
And are you pleased with your answer, Kevin? What did you do to solve it?
No, I just said I just got to it.
Oh, you just got to it. Okay.
I just added it. I don't know if that's correct.
Leon's recipe for taco salad calls for beef.
And I got a question. Number 7, I put 1.705, but I had to put the 1, 3, and 4s. And I think it's number 7.
Number 7. Tell me again what you put
Yeah,
down.
it was. I put the how do you call 1.75 because I divide the how do you call
Yeah.
3
Okay.
4s.
Okay. And the answer key says what?
It was 1.705 miles. I mean, but it was 1 3 4s.
1 and 3/4. Yeah. These are exactly the same.
Okay. Just making sure.
And my only advice is, if it's a multiple choice question, it's not going to give you both of these choices. So,
Okay.
you know, if they're saying 1 and 3/4, then you got 1.75. It's important that you know how to convert those. So
Okay.
you can choose the correct answer.
Okay.
Okay. And Maximo, did you get the correct answer for number 9?
No. No.
Yeah, wouldn't that just
Yeah.
be addition?
Yeah.
No. And
No?
you know, when I look at this, I've looked at this, I've taught this worksheet many, many times, and I cannot figure out any other way to work it besides this method that I came up with. And I don't know why I can't think of another way to work it, but here's the way I worked it. I have to have a picture. Okay, so this is a picture of all the chips that he needs, and he has 3/4 of them. So he has this many already, and this is what he still needs. And it says he needs 1.5.
Yep.
Okay, now when you split something up into fourths, what you're doing, you're not just you're splitting it into 4 equal pieces. So this fourth has 1.5. Every one of these has 1.5.
Oh.
So to solve this, what do I have to do?
Now you add each one.
Yeah, or I have 1.5
Yeah.
times 4. I guess what bothers me about this is that it seems like I never use the 3. But anyway, there we go. Is that picture convincing?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that I drew the correct picture to represent the problem?
I think it makes sense
I think it does.
the way you drew that.
And
Because it said 3/4 and you needed 1.5 bags more. So that does make
So you
sense.
listen.
yeah. Drawing a picture like this, that's so much easier than trying to figure it out any other way. I'm positive of that. And I like to show you that, well, some of the best mathematicians that I have ever worked with or studied with solved problems just like this. They didn't go to the calculator first. They didn't start just trying things. They drew a picture. And it was always an easy picture like this that just made it obvious. And so what does this answer come out to be? 6.
6 bags.
I count 6. And, now that we have it, the answer, I know how to use that. I know how to use this. We could say, well, okay, here we go. Now I know how to solve this without the picture. Because we can say he has 3/4, but so he needs 1/4. And so I can say that 1/4 times some number, which I don't know what it is. I mean, I do now, but I didn't, is 1.5. Yeah, this was the missing piece for me. Okay, now to solve this, you take 1.5 and divide it by 1/4. Personally, I'd rather just multiply, but when you do this, you're going to come out with an answer of 6, which might seem weird, but dividing by 1/4 is the same thing as multiplying by 4. And that's because multiplication and division are inverse operations. And 1/4 is the inverse of 4. Okay. For everyone who's ever worked this worksheet, this is the most difficult problem. All right, anyone else ready for answers?
Yeah.
Yep, that was Joe. Okay, I'm going to call time on this. Does anyone have any questions about any particular problem on this worksheet? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay, before we do the activity, there's one more topic that I'd like to just reinforce. It's not new. Might look new. Okay, here's an equation. This one looks really easy. We know how to solve this one. What do I do to solve this? It's a multiplication equation.
Divide
Divide by
3.
3. We get x equals 6. All right, how about this one?
Same thing, but by 600.
Same thing. We're going to divide by 600. This is a big number, but we don't care.
We got a big number to work with to divide.
Yeah, we have a big number of it. Okay. So this comes x equals 5. And all right, I'm going to try to trick you guys. How about this one? 0.5x equals 20. What do we do now?
I don't know.
Let's look back here. Here we had kind of a small number. Here we had a huge number, and you guys said same thing. Now we have a small number.
So you're gonna divide
By
0.5.
5.5. Yeah. And what does this answer come out to be?
40.
40. When if I read this original problem to you, let me rewrite it. So 0.5 times x is 20. And we figure that the answer comes out to be 40. All right, now here's the next one. What do we do with this one?
Wait. I'd like to say multiply both sides by 2, but
Like, are you trying to get a fraction out of this?
Is this Joe that's speaking?
Yeah.
Let me say this, Joe. You are not wrong. But that isn't the answer that I wanted. Darn it. Okay, but you're not wrong. But let me teach it this way and then show you why you are also absolutely correct. Okay, up here we had some number times x, and we divided by that number. We had a big number times x, we divided by that number. We have 0.5 times x, we divided by that number. Here, we have a half times x. I think we should do the same thing. And once you start writing a fraction on top of a fraction, it looks pretty scary. But any number divided by itself always equals 1. This equals 1, this equals 1, this equals 1. So we can just divide by a half. Now, if you were doing long division, thank goodness they never tried to make you do that. That's too weird. We can't even really think about that very well. I can, but most, you don't want to get there. All right, so we can take 20 divided by 1/2. The answer is going to come out to be 40. Yeah.
40.
Okay. So x equals 40. Now, let me rewrite this problem right there. And there, if I was going to just read you this problem in English, one way that I could pronounce it would be 1/2 of x equals 20. Oh, what would that number have to be if only half of it?
I did the 1 divided by 2, and I got the 0.5, and I was
Yeah,
the same.
you got the 0.5. Then you're back at this problem, right?
Exactly.
So here's a picture of this equation. Half of this whole amount here is 20. So if half of it's 20, this half is 22, and then the whole thing equals 40, right there. All right, so Joe, you said multiplying by 1/2 is the same. That's not what you said. Let me try to say it like you said it. You want to take this original equation here and just multiply both sides by 2. And we can do that. This 2 cancels out that 2, or if you know how to, well, we'll just say it cancels it out. And over here you have 20 times 2. So you do get that correct answer of 40. And this, your method, Joe, is just easier to look at and write than this mess over here. Okay?
Just converting it to the same question above the 0.5.
No. When
No.
you said this 1/2 times x.
I think that was me saying that.
Oh, that was you, Kevin, that just wanted
Yeah.
to multiply both sides by 2? Oh,
Yeah.
no wonder I'm trying to blame it on somebody else. And Kevin, this is absolutely correct. You get the same answer. And there is nothing wrong with your thinking here.
It's interesting watching them being worked out both ways. It's kind of good to look at it like that.
Yeah.
Both ways.
Now, when I teach how to solve these, I typically do not teach how to solve it this way, because I teach how to solve it this way, and then this is going to work with any fraction you can think of.
It makes sense though, because x is 1/2 and x is right by it, so just dividing sounds easier.
Yeah, it's the same thing you do with all of the other ones I've shown. And now when I do a fraction like this, 3/4 times x equals 20. This is still some number times x, and I know that I can solve it by dividing by 3/4. And this isn't pretty, but the calculator doesn't mind at all. You can put it in there exactly like that. So to put this in, it's a fraction, and 20 is on top. And then when you get down to the bottom, we need another fraction. So you just hit the fraction key again. It's going to let you put in that 3/4.
That's cool.
Yeah, isn't that nice? There's the answer. Oh gosh. 80/3. Okay. I wanted I just made up this problem on the fly, and I really wished that it would come out to be a nice whole number, but this doesn't. 80/3, if we convert it to a decimal, it's 26 point that big old mess. Turned it back into a fraction. I can change that into a mixed number using the change it into a mixed number key. So I hit second and the key below the green thing that I want. And then when I hit enter, it's 26 2/3. Now, so I want to compare these two problems again. I'm going to rewrite them. So this one, Kevin recognized that it's pretty darn easy just to multiply by 2. That cancels this out. We get this one. What would we multiply here? Cancel out that fraction.
4.
If we multiply by 4, we have to do it on both sides. That cancels out the denominator. And then what we have left here is 3 times x equals 20 times 4 is 80. Now what do we have to do?
Divide.
Divide by 3. Yeah. And 80 divided by 3, oh gosh, that's this answer right here. All right. So I've worked it 2 different ways and we get the same answer, which is good. There's yet a third way to work this thing. And the third way to work it is the way that most math books and most teachers teach it. And that's because back in the day, we didn't used to have calculators. And so if you don't have a calculator, the way I'm going to show you now is maybe easier. So we could have 3/4 of x equals 20. The way most books say to solve it is to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of the fraction. So a reciprocal of a fraction is the upside down of it. So if you know how to multiply fractions, you know that this ends up being 12 over 12 or 1. So this whole thing cancels itself out. And then we have to go 20 times 4 divided by 3, which is 80/3. If you've already learned this way to solve it, please keep doing that, unless you think that the new way is easier for you. I like to show students that I know how to work on this way and that it does come out with the same answer, just in case they've already memorized that this is how to solve those kind of problems. Okay, let's do a puzzle. And the puzzle today comes out of your workbook in the activities section. You need to look for a page that looks like this, and it's called By the Shapes. So this is just the page where you're going to record your answers. And it looks like there's 8 problems on here. There's a couple of them that I skip because they're too hard. I'm serious about that. Here's we're not going to record anything yet, but I'm going to show you the process that we'll use for working these. So here's a couple of the puzzle pieces. You can see on your answer key, there's always a circle, a triangle, and a square. And so I just see two of the puzzle pieces here. But if I give you this equation that says some number plus some other number, and I know it's a different number, if it was the same number, it would have circle plus circle. But this is going to be two different numbers, and when you add them up, they equal 7. So let's think about all the possibilities. What could circle be? And what could triangle be? You don't have to list these. I'm going to do it. So if circle is 1, then triangle could be 6, and that equals 7. Or if circle is 2, then triangle could be 5, and that would still equal 7. 3 plus 4 equals 7. 4 plus 3 equals 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. 6 plus 1 equals 7. And there's a whole bunch of fractions or decimal things that we could do to equal 7 also. With the whole rest of this puzzle, we're only going to use whole numbers. And we will not use any negative numbers. Whole numbers, I can't remember if any of the answers is 0, but some of the answers might be 0. So we'll only use whole numbers and 0. So if I gave you this and I said, tell me what the value of the circle is, your very correct answer would be, there's too many choices. It could be any of these things. I can't give you an answer. But if I give you a second clue, which is not that one, it's this one. Now, if I give you this clue, and on one set of clues, the value in the triangle is always going to be the same for every equation. This clue tells me exactly what triangle equals. Triangle equals 3. So I know I have to put a 3 in right there. And when I do that, the only correct answer for circle is 4. Okay, our puzzles are going to, we haven't seen anything with a square in it yet, and each puzzle is also going to have a square. So, gosh, here's a clue for square. What do you suppose square equals?
8.
8. Okay. So then when we get to something like this, we know that this is 8, and this is...
And that one's 3.
And it does indeed equal 11. So we know that we've solved every one of those. All right, so answers. Okay. Let's work through the first one together. I'll show you the clues. Oh gosh, I need to show you everything at once. So even I can see that. I hope you can all see all the clues. If you're on your phone, it might be hard. Well, if we start up here at the top, there's no way I can know what these what they equal. This clue's even worse. That clue doesn't help us, but oh, this one helps us get started. I know that the rectangle has to equal 5. So let's go ahead and record that. Now that I know that the rectangle is 5, I can look for one of these other clues that has a 5 in it. This one right here. So now I know I have triangle plus 5 equals 9. And so I can figure what triangle is. Triangle must equal And then we could go to either of the other clues here. Let's do this one because it's the easiest. We know that the triangle equals 4. 4 plus something equals 6. That must be
2.
2. Now, you might be tempted to say, oh, I don't need to bother with this one. I already know what it is. But it's a good idea to go ahead and fill in the numbers and make sure that it works. And every time you see a circle, we've said that has to stand for the number 2. So 2 plus 2 equals 4. Oh yeah, that works beautifully. Done with that one. All right. Does everybody understand what we have to do here? Look for some clue out of the 4. Look for some clue that's going to help you get started. It won't always be in this position on these cards. It'll be a good clue. Okay, here's problem number 2.
Square must be 7.
Okay, square must be 7. And that is the only clue that you need to really get started. So you can record the 7. We could try to use the 7 here, but it's not going to help us. No squares up here. If we fill in 7 right there, we can solve for circle.
So 5.
Oops, so 5, because, wait a minute. Oh, no, 5 doesn't work. Because this, and it might be hard for you to see, this is a subtract. So right there. Some number minus 7 is 2.
Is circle 9?
Must equal 9. Yeah.
Triangle is 3.
Let's see if that would work.
Or, no,
Wait,
2. Triangle is 2.
2, because we would say 7 plus 2 is 9. Well, that works pretty well. And then we can check this one. 9 plus 2 is 11. Yeah. Okay. Do they all work? I've got the answer key here. That works pretty well. Okay. All right. I think that there's room for me to put at least 2 of these up on the screen at once. So you can work ahead a little bit if you like. This one, we're skipping 3 and 4. Those are the 2 that are just too hard to work. 3 and 4 don't give you any clues. You just have to start guessing numbers. And if you guess well enough, eventually you can figure it out. And some people like to guess. I kind of like to do math. Okay, so this one is 5 and this one is 6.
Is that number 6 square blank circle? Up one, up one? Oh, down one? Yeah, that one. What is it minus?
That's subtract.
Subtract,
Yeah.
okay.
Any symbol that you can't read is subtract.
Do you know why he's not laying right there?
Is anyone still stuck on number 5? I'm going to take that as a no. I should probably give you answers for 5 before I make it disappear. Let's do this. It's going away. Just, if you need to see this again for any reason, let me know. I'll put it back up. still can't see this. Can you guys see that this says 2 times circle? Just leave it. Does anyone need answers yet?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Okay. How do I do that without showing everyone? So I could just I can email them to you. Oh, but wait, if I do that, it's going to make this disappear and nobody can work. So I guess I'm not ready to send you any answers, Joe. But problem number 6. Tell me, Joe, which one of these cards gave you the good first clue that you needed to get started?
The last one, the bottom one.
The last one. Yeah. And why was that a good clue?
Because they're both the same.
They're both the same.
Yep.
So something plus that same number has to equal 4.
Yep. So 2.
2. Yep. Okay. I think I'll just go ahead and start filling in some answers here. Can I do that? Okay, I'd like to call time on this now. So, does anybody just want to beg me for a couple more minutes to work on one that they haven't completed yet? I'll take that for a no. So the complete answer sheet, if you need to check any answers. Okay, is everybody done? I'm getting so much response today.
Yes.
Only one I didn't get
Yes.
right was number 8, the square.
This one? Okay,
Yeah.
you got a different answer for that one? And
Yeah.
it might be because it was very hard to see this problem right here.
I got two in that one.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and work through 8. Okay, the triangle's 6. That's easy. And then right here is going to be the next one that makes sense. Because if we take 6 subtract 1, I know that equals 5. So this must be 4. Then we can tackle this. Oh, we could go right up here. So we have 6 minus something equals 4.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah. And so that something has to come out to be 2.
That's that one.
And then this one, even on the original here, I had to put my glasses on to see if I could tell what it was actually doing. It's really, it's not well printed. But it would be 6 plus 4 is supposed to equal 2 times 4,
And it'll be 8.
and then add 2.
So,
So 10 equals 8 plus 2.
yeah, I get stuck in the 2 because I couldn't see it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you
That's-
could.
I've never had to do this using a camera before, and so I don't think I've ever really noticed how badly that's printed. Okay. Those, I don't know that they'll ever give you a puzzle like that on the GED, but they will. It's entirely possible that they'll give you a situation very much like that, where you have 2 equations and 2 things that are unknown. And we've been working some of those problems. We worked some of them yesterday when we did some word problems. So they'll show up again. I have prepared a lesson on that, and I'm trying to remember if I wrote it up so that I could just send it to you and let you practice it on your own. If I did, and I can find it, that's what I'll send you today. Okay, so stop here. And I personally, an hour and a half is a long time for a class, isn't it?
A little bit.
It's, yeah, especially, for this one, part of the reason why I chose to be a teacher, I gave up my career, that had I stayed with it, I would have been able to retire 10 years ago, and my income would be $100,000 a year from my retirement. Okay, good reason why I gave up that job. Well, 2 reasons, but one, it was my job at the time as a statistician, and gosh, probably 38 hours out of 40 on average, I was sitting on my butt in front of the computer, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And so here I am sitting in front of a computer to do my teaching job. An ordinary teaching job allows me to get up and down, walk around the room. Very, very much better balanced job. Anyway, it's hard for me to sit this long. It hurts to get up after sitting for too long, doesn't it? Everybody, right? But a couple things, just little kind of details that I want to work on with people. Let's see, Kevin's gone, and I was going to look at his study plan. Joe, did you get some practice work from me yesterday?
I got those book pages. in the
Okay, good.
Email, yeah.
And just so you know, those are all GED level questions, very much like GED, great practice. And when you miss a question on the practice test, it tries to pick out a lesson that has that concept in it.
Hmm.
A particular page might have, 5 or 6 different kinds of problems on it. So there's no way to tell exactly which kind of problem you missed, but it doesn't hurt to practice everything on those pages. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
They are challenging. Some of them are challenging. The answers in that book, I think, are fabulous. They do a great job in explaining why one answer is correct and why the other ones are wrong.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
anyway, the answers have a lot of instruction in them that are worth looking at. But let me point out something in those answers. And some of you have worked out of this book or have gotten work out of this book, and I want to show you something with the answers. So I just turned to a random page. And here's a random answer right here. So this was, question number 5 on whichever page it was, page 100. And it says the answer is C. So that must have been a multiple choice question. But then it has this DOC level, and it says DOC level 2. DOC stands for depth of knowledge. The GED test has 3 different levels on it. Level 1 is the easiest. You read the question, all the information is there. It might take a quick calculation, you can solve it. Level 2 is more complex. Read the question, but you might also have to get some information out of a table to go with it, or maybe do a couple of calculations to get to the answer. And then there's level 3, and that's the most complex of all. With level 3, they expect you to be able to draw on some outside knowledge, something that you already know, to go with the problem to help you solve it. Those level 3 problems are often testing your knowledge at the college level. And if you get a big enough score on the GED test, you can get college credit for math. So some of these questions have to be really hard in order to test you at the college level. You don't need to get college level questions in order to pass the test. So 80% of the test is made up of level 2 and level 3 questions. And 20% will be these, pretty basic question ones. But I like to point this out to students because sometimes you'll be working problems and they're all going along fine, and then you hit one that seems like it's way harder than anything else. And if you get to the answers and it lists that as a level 3, you're going, oh, no wonder why that was so hard. That's going to be that college level or potentially a college level problem. And I don't know, you can just see these level 3 problems. A lot of times they need more explanation. Okay. So, and you can totally ignore this content topics stuff. That has to do with the college and career readiness standards that are adopted from the Common Core state standards that all of the schools in Colorado and many, many other states use to decide what things are important to teach students. Okay. All right, does anybody need anything from me today before I go away?
I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Guess I should probably offer to send you the video. Yesterday's video, I kind of didn't exactly get it done until early this morning. And so they don't publish it right away. Yesterday's video won't come out until midnight. Today's video will probably come out at midnight. So you might get 2 video links from me in the morning. Okay. Right, so I'll sign off. Bye to everybody.
All right. Have a good day.
See you tomorrow, you guys too. Bye-bye.